Gene Banks of the West Philadelphia Speedboys is a legendary figure in Philadelphia basketball history. This is his story.
Paxson, top of the circle. Right side is Jordan. Michael Jordan with 15 to shoot. Double team. Cross court left to Banks. Outside jumper, Gene Banks. Good.
Whoa, long one.
Out to Paxson from the left. The 20-footer. No good. Rebound Oakley. Charles of Banks has it blocked. Banks follow up. Got it. Loose. It's still loose. And the ball is dug out by Paxson. Paxson on the drive as he brings it up for the Bulls. Paxson a lob to Banks underneath. Banks lays it in.
Someone asked me, how does it feel to be Gene Banks? And that's an interesting thing to answer because the name has become somewhat iconic in high school basketball and West Philadelphia folklore. And what's intriguing is that my dad never really got the credit. But my dad used to take me around to the YMCA in West Philly and all around the courts in Philadelphia, and I got to play against some of these great players like Frank Card, who played at West Philadelphia High School, Fred Stokes, Gilbert Saunders. It's amazing to, as a young boy, play against all these old heads and be trained and to come to find out that I become one of them or even as good as them. So my coming to West Philadelphia was really an interesting fluke because I was living with my dad and I was in the John Bartram High School area, and I just decided it wasn't no recruiting or anything like that. It was more so me moving from my dad to my mom's house, and I moved back with her. And apparently West Philadelphia had a pretty good team led by Tim Smith and Cal Goodwin and Will Lorick and some of those guys. And West Philadelphia was on right up the street from 53rd and Spruce Street. So I decided to go to West Philly. And at one time, they was considering that Coach Goldenberg was recruiting, and he never did. Never liked that. Coming to West Philadelphia, probably those years were some of the greatest years of my life. All the parents that were our teammates, mothers and fathers, we were all together. We slept in each other's rooms. We did homework together. Just a lot of things that happened. The world was different back then. And the greatest thing is that West Philadelphia Speedboys, we had the world by the testicles, if I can say that without being wrong. It was fantastic. Started out my sophomore year with guys like Tim Smith, Mark Dwight, Calvin Goodwin, Mike Collins. Several of those guys have deceased. But Tim Smith was really a mentor to me when I first got there and took me under his wing. My junior year, we had a team that was also, when we first started out, we had to change and redo the whole, because 6 seniors had graduated from the senior year from 75. So the new squad comes in with Darryl Warwick and Ron Weiner, and then Clarence Tillman comes into the play, and that's a whole nother story. And then we also had Don Watkins. Don was a sharpshooter, good player. He's probably around here listening to me somewhere. So
Eugene Levon Banks, a special individual, a special person, a wonderful, wonderful person. He and I clicked from the start. I knew we were going to be a good team. When we played a preseason game at Monsignor Bonner High School, and not many public league teams wanted to go into the Catholic League to play, especially at their place. But I thought ahead of time we were going to be pretty good. It was a tough game. We won the game, and Doug Connolly, who was my coach at West Philly, was there to watch the game. He said, "Joe, this team is going to be special." And he was right. Gene, I had to sit on him at times to calm him down, especially in practice. He would go at 110% all the time. And I wasn't strong enough or big enough to slow him down. He said, "Coach, this is the way I play. If I don't do this now, I might not do it in the game." I said, "Gene, you do your thing. We'll work around you." So I have some fond memories. He has become a part of our family. Mother's Day comes around, he calls my wife to wish her a happy Mother's Day. I don't get a call from him for Father's Day, but that's okay.
Eugene Tinkerbell Banks, good brother of mine, best friend. He was the epitome of not only a great ball player, but a great human being. Gene was our leader. Gene would tell us, yo, listen, this is a big game. Every game was a big game. And Gene, would, as our leader, would come and talk to us, tell us how important this game was, and this was every game. And again, we always looked up to Gene. We knew who he was. He was the All-American. And it wasn't any animosity. No one didn't dislike Gene. He was, and again, I'm just gonna say it again, he was my best friend, but he was a great leader. He is a great leader, still is a great leader. And he just was, as far as, and I'll just say more about him as a ball player, Gene could rebound, Gene could shoot. He did everything that the coach asked him to do. And he just was a great person.
My most memorable memory of Gene, not playing in the game at Public League Championship game against Overbrook. Yeah. That's my most. Gene has always been a down-to-earth guy. He believed in team. Even though Gene walked his own little tune, he believed in team. No matter what, he believed in team, he believed in academics. So he's always been a down-to-earth guy. So I have no complaints. I welcome Gene. Gene welcomed me, and I'm glad we were able to play for 3 years together.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Moment also, him sitting on the bench thinking that everybody thought we was going to lose. He fooled everybody.
Yeah, that was the most that's the most memorable moment of Gene. Yeah, because he did everything we did. So when Gene didn't show up for the game, when Joey goes over at Bishop, that's when we knew. That's the most memorable moment. Because Gene did what we did. So I don't have nothing crazy to say about Gene, except for he didn't show up for the game.
When I point, you go.
Okay.
Everybody be quiet. I'm gonna point to him too. You gonna talk to me.
My name is Vincent Ross. Came in West Philly in 1975, followed that 25-0 team of 75 city championships from Sayre Junior High School as a 10th grader with Clarence Tillman and Bert Tyrell Biggs, who went on to become the super heavyweight champion, Olympic champion. We won 3 city championships, a national championship in 75, in 1977. Some great teams in West Philly. It's been an honor. Thankful to Mr. Joe Goldenberg for seeing something in me as a skinny, 165-pound, 6'5", 10th grader, that put me on the team and allowed me to play against Gene and Clarence every day to help develop my game. And I went on to play at University of Pennsylvania and show my 1979 Final Four ring, NCAA Final Four ring. Played against Magic Johnson, Michigan State, Larry Bird, and Indiana State, Mark Aguirre, DePaul also in that Final Four. But West Philly, some of the best days of my life. Thank God for that opportunity. Just thank God for all my teammates, or my brothers, my Speedboys brothers for life. One of my big brothers sitting here now, Donald Watkins. I played in the 9th grade with him on a summer league team at Haven House, and that's where I sort of grew up, and with him and Tony Roots and Lou Crawley, sort of taught me the ropes, banged me around, but got me prepared for the real world and for real life. And just it's honored to be and thankful to be here with my coach Joe Goldenberg today at the Philadelphia Black Basketball Hall of Fame, and it was an honor to be on some of the greatest teams in Philadelphia history. We were ranked the number 3 all-time team. My 1977 national championship team was the number 3 ranked team of all time in Philadelphia basketball, behind 2 Overbrook teams, and both of those teams starred Wilt Chamberlain. So we were pretty special. It was again an honor to be part of those groups, and thankful to still be here to talk about it. Gene Banks, our captain, our 77 team captain, one of the great players in Philadelphia history. Another warrior I had to battle with, again, along with him and Clarence, really helped me develop my game. And Gene, is legendary. Along with Wilt Chamberlain, Rasheed Wallace, some of the great players in Philadelphia basketball history, and helped lead us to a national championship. And we finished 30-0 in 1977. And in my 3 years in West Philly, we finished 87-3, only lost 3 games. We had a 68-game winning streak. It's still the longest winning streak in Pennsylvania basketball history. So again, thankful to be part of the great West Philly high school teams.
My memory of Gene Banks was during my high school time. Him and I were student government officers. I was the president of student government, and he was my vice president. He was the only person that beat out my whole female cabinet that I had, that I ran with, and we had a great time. One of my fondest memories of Gene was every game before we played, they made sure they got him a mustard pretzel, a soft pretzel before the game. It was like a ritual of his. It was ironic that he did that, but it was great. Gene and I used to walk, when I walked home with him, he lived on 52nd, 51st, just 3rd Spruce. And I lived all the way down 62nd and Pine.
Yeah, well, Gene Banks is a great friend of mine. We become friends later on in life. He often tells me the story about his recruitment to Duke University in North Carolina. And, I was the first basketball player from Philadelphia to go to a predominantly white institution in the South. So I guess he watched what was happening to me. And while Duke is a great academic institution, I'm certain that one of the things that he considered was, wasn't like for a black kid from Philadelphia going to school in the South. So, but we've become closer later on in life. We talk almost every day. He's a great person. He's got a great heart. And he's my friend, and I love him.
I'd like now to introduce my best assistant coach and parole officer for the last 63 years, my wife, Claire.
Hi. I love the teams. I love these kids. They are very special. They call us to check on us. And I just love them.
How about the day, the night before big games, when they all came over to the house and I cooked cheese steaks and Claire cooked French fries.
How about when you won the championships and we would go back for hot dogs?
Yeah, and they could eat. They could really eat. I spent 2.5 hours making cheesesteaks. And then I didn't want to touch another cheesesteak forever.
They were special. They still are special.
My memories of Gene Banks. Me and Gene Banks had a really special bond. For starters, my last name is Banks, so I always thought that Gene Banks, Tanya Banks, maybe he's a relative. So we lived in the same neighborhood right around the corner from each other. We would see each other in passing, and then I was a freshman at West Philadelphia High School, and he was there. I guess he was either a junior or a senior. So we would see each other through the halls. I'm like, my last name is Banks, your last name is Banks. You sure you're not related to me? And he said, I don't know. And from there, our friendship started. And he was always a gentleman. He was so tall. I was just getting there, and I'm like, oh wow, he's so tall. And then when I found out that he joined the basketball team, it made me even more interested because I'm also a speed girl for West Philly High. I played on the chess team. We were public league champions of chess. So, I was into sports, he was into sports. So we became really good friends. And West Philly High was one of the best schools in Philadelphia as far as sports. We had so many programs that a lot of schools today just doesn't have. And we were honored by that. We love school. I love school. I love to be in school. And it was a thing where we had one of the best basketball teams because of the teaching of Mr. Goldberg. So when Gene Banks and the West Philadelphia Speedboys, because I have to mention them because it was something that ran together. They had a close-knit relationship with each other. And all the players on the team were good. They all had their role. They all did what they were supposed to do. And Gene Banks, he was the leader. So my memories of him was that he was a person that was a gentleman. We would joke and laugh, and he called me his little sister because my last name was Banks. I would go to all his games, and we used to love to go see him play against Overbrook High School because that was our rivals. Even though, you know, we used to laugh and joke and we're going to get overbooked, but, you know, everybody was friends back in those days. We just used to have fun with it, and we used to go there and cheer and things like that. But outside of basketball, he was a good person. And he's somebody that Philadelphia can appreciate because he's a role model to a lot of the urban children and guys and boys that go to the different basketball leagues and the different, you know, little kiddie leagues. They look at him as a mentor because he's one of the guys from West Philadelphia, the urban city, one of the cities that, you know, have had their issues, problems, and challenges as far as crime, being able to be successful, you know, homicide rates. He made it out. He was successful. He came from basically an urban city where a lot of guys failed. He went to college. He played at Duke. He went to the NBA, and he was very successful. And he comes to Philadelphia and he gives back. He talks to the youth. He tries to get them to understand that you don't have to settle for the streets. Yeah, we all have our issues. We all have our problems, but there is a way out. So deep down inside, he has that mentorship to help the youth of Philadelphia. And the West Philadelphia Speedboys, that team was one of the best teams in the United States as far as high school. And to date, for what I believe, which I'm not a person that really knows basketball tremendously for our statistics, but I haven't seen a team of my era like the West Philadelphia Speedboys. All of the members of the team were good. They all played well, you know, and they all deserve credit. Not just Gene Banks, but they all deserve credit because no team can be successful without the teammates other than the leaders and the coaches. It takes a group effort. And me and Gene Banks, we always talk over the phone. We always, when he comes to Philadelphia, you know, we run into each other and we talk, and he let me know what he's doing, and I let him know what I'm doing. You know, I have my own talk show and I do interviews and things like that. And he always congratulates me, and he's just a wonderful person to know. And he's just a wonderful person to have around. And he's doing great things in Philadelphia. He's very appreciated here in Philadelphia. He's very respected here in Philadelphia, and not just Philly, but abroad. Because he is the type of man that you could say, okay, a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people will say, okay, well, you should be doing these things, but he actually puts back time. He take out the time with the youth. He goes to different places. He makes public appearances. He talks. He does things. And he's someone that I can say is a dear friend, well respected, a gentleman, a person that is a role model to the youth, and someone that we should really be proud to say that he was a West Philadelphia Speedboy along with all the other teammates. I'm proud to have went to that school, to have met him, to know him, and to honor him.
Greg McKinley, class of 78, West Philadelphia High School Speedboys. I played on the 77 team that was #1 team in the nation. I was the 12th man. It's a privilege being the 12th man on that team. I probably got more minutes than any 12th man in the country because we beat everybody by large sums. More than half our games, we probably beat teams by 45 or 50. The camaraderie on the team was strong. We had great leadership with Coach Goldenberg. Gene and Darryl Warwick, Gene Banks, Darryl Warwick were our captains. They led us well. I also played alongside Clarence Tillman, Vince Ross. They were my classmates in the class of 78. Absolutely standouts for the team. James Pee Wee Thomas, another one, point guard. It was a great experience being a part of the team. High school kid, I'm signing autographs and things like that at games. People don't even know who I am, but they saw that uniform and it was a standout opportunity. Great experience, and it propelled me forward in life. I still hold on to many of the memories, and I treasure the relationships that I have. We're a very close team now here some 40 plus years later. We're all together here at a banquet honoring our coach, going into a Hall of Fame here in the city of Philadelphia, Black Hall of Fame. He's going in as a friend of the Hall of Fame. But it's a great association. What I can say about Gene Banks was he was a good friend and a really honorable leader. He led us from the front. He ran as hard as anybody on the team. So there was no excuses. When the star of the team is the one in the front, him and Darryl, we would run a mile every day at practice. Darryl or Gene was in the front of that mile. So it really charged us as players to understand there was no slacking. Because one of the things that Gene did when I was early on the team, I wasn't conditioned to run that mile. He would run around. If he got the opportunity to lap you, he would smack you on your behind. And I mean, it wasn't no love tap. He could lift you up off the ground because he was quite a strong individual. So those are some of the highlights of my early years playing on the team. From October to March, Coach ran us to death. Coach Goldenberg was an outstanding coach. He had a saying, he would say, you hate me in October, but you'll love me in March when you get that championship. And we achieved that. That team, we went 30-0. We played a count of 7 home games. So the other 33 games were on the road. We went anywhere and everywhere to play anybody. And anybody who thought they were better than us or equal to us, we went to them. Played them on their home court, and we won because we were 30-0.
Hi, this is Tanya Banks from the Tanya Banks Show. I am here with the legendary, when I say legendary, I mean living legendary, Gene Banks from West Philly. Hi, how are you, Gene? I'm here at the Philadelphia Black Hall of Fame. What does this moment mean to you? I mean, you've had major accomplishments as far as in your career, being part of West Philly High Speedboys, just doing all kind of amazing things, going to Duke, being in the NBA. But what does this moment, honoring your coach, Goldberg, what does this moment really mean to you, Gene?
This is one of the highlights of my life because it's other people, especially Philadelphia, honoring the icons and people here that have done some great things. Especially my high school coach, Coach Goldenberg, getting in. That's special. Philadelphia Black Hall of Fame here is a Jewish man that helped nurture and raise black young men, and he was very instrumental in my life as well as many others. So this is really a special night, really, really great. Words cannot even come out to say more how being here, being a part of this was it is.
So when they honored your coach, how did you really feel? Because he was the one that molded your whole career. He was the one that made you the basketball player that you are today. How did you really feel when you saw him get out there and get up on that podium? And he is how old now?
He's about 70-something, but you gotta give credit where credit due. He didn't mold totally everything with me. I give my dad credit. A lot of people helped me, like the Sunny Hill League and a lot of guys, coaches in there. They helped mold me a lot. He helped sculpture the finishing product and put the nice polish on it. So, but I give him credit for putting those important parts for me to go to the next level. So he gets that most credit without a doubt. But there were other people before that helped put me in those positions. But I am honored and happy and blessed that he's getting these awards because he deserves them, every single one of them.
So you have accomplished basketball. You were public league champions. You went to Duke. You went to the NBA. What is in the future for Gene Banks now? What are you doing these days?
I just got finished bringing back Gaston College. I brought back athletics to Gaston College after 50 years. They didn't have athletics, so I put together a whole program, and now the program has been fantastic for 1 year. The baseball team was nationally ranked, but they couldn't go to the series because of the year of probation. And now I got moved up. The second year as being an advisor to the president to helping minority students get more scholarship money, and also doing some things outside the community, which is one of my best fortes. I have a podcast, I have a radio show. I stay pretty busy.
He's doing everything.
I'm getting older now. I'm starting to get a little tired, but I think Ricky Tucker's had a message about us trying to get back to our youth in Philly. We got to figure out a way of getting them back doing the right things.
And speaking about the youth, Philly's in a pretty bad situation right now as far as, the crime and things like that. What do you think that, how do you feel about a lot of the schools don't have what West Philly had? They had basketball, football and programs. How would you be able to be a mentor or someone who they can sit back and say, okay, well, Gene Banks did this? Because a lot of people respect you, Gene. Respect you at basketball, but not just basketball, a person. You know what I mean? In the community. What would you want to do and try to change in the community to help the youth?
Well, there are a lot of models. Ricky Tucker has a model. There's a lot of people that have certain models. We just have to put them all under one umbrella. And, everybody's trying to find to get these sponsorship dollars or this, that, and the other thing. The basic thing of it is trying to get these kids stimulated. Right now, their easily minds are easily taken to do different crazy things instead of doing something that's collective responsibility, trust, and all those things. We got to try to find a way of getting them to understand that. They think their family's that group that they have, but it's really off base. We still got to get guys like Ricky Tucker, guys like the Sonny Hills, and the T. Parhams, and Claude Grosses that are still here, Mo Howards. They're doing all kind of things in the community. We got to get us all to be collective to come with a responsive program, and not just that, but also try to get these kids to get their attention. We got to listen to them. We got to let them talk. And then sometimes they say some crazy things, but they want to be heard. Let them talk, and then they'll listen to us, because we don't have the energy and vigor anymore that they have. They have it, but we have the wisdom. We have the wisdom and the guidance to help them, and that's what we have to be able to put and balance it. Then we'll get them. It's not going to be easy.
Well, you sound like you have a plan. You sound like you have some things in place, and I'm just looking forward to seeing more of you, and I just want to thank you so much. I am honored to be here at the Black Philadelphia Hall of Famers. I'm here with Gene Banks, the living legend of West Philadelphia High School Speedboys for life. I'm Tanya Banks. It's Tanya Banks Show, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you, Gene.
From my experience and my path, because I really was supposed to go at one time to John Bartram, but I moved back to my mom's house, and it had nothing to do with basketball or anything like that. I just wanted to move back with my mom. I was living with my dad, and I didn't think I was able to go to school for about a week and a half, because they were thinking about it was a recruiting violation. They thought Coach G was recruiting, but he wasn't. And also in this whole affair, I almost went to transfer to South Florida High School during my sophomore year. Nobody knows that story. I got upset. Coach disciplined me pretty hard. I didn't play. He benched me on a couple games as a sophomore. And I got discontented. I was having some issues. I wanted to move back with my grandfather to South Philly. And I went over to South Philly High School, and I met head coach Mitch Snyder. And I told him I was thinking about transferring to South Philly High School. This is real. And he just said, well, have your mother come down and think about it, and et cetera, et cetera. And when I got back, it was just one of those decisions when you're young, you make decisions and thinking you know something and you really don't know something. So that was would have been one of the biggest mistakes in my life. But it didn't happen, and we went on to have such an unbelievable year, winning 30 games, winning 30-0. All our parents were like there. We had Speedboy Nation was great when it came to our parents. Sometimes we didn't, at that time, we had gangs around, but we could still have sometimes our doors unlocked, and we stayed over each other's houses. Even as players, as teammates, we were very, very close. And I know other teams like Overbrook and South Philly High, I know what they had, but it was nothing like ours. Ours was really unique and different. And the one thing that I find that was so amazing was that we never worried about the other team that we played. We were all more concerned, and Coach G was how well we were conditioned, how well we were ready to go to play. It wasn't so much scouting the other team or worrying about the other team. I never worried about what the other team had or who the other team was on their team or their players. It was all about how we were running our assignments, how we were executing and what we had to do. And that was the biggest key that was more important for me. And I learned that and it carried it over for me to go on to higher levels when I went to Duke University and also played in the NBA. So to talk about my teammates, my sophomore year we had Mark Dwight. He was a two guard. He was a 6'5", 200 and maybe 15-pound big guard. He evolutionized that position. He was amazing, just fantastic player. Then we also had the center Wilbert Lork, and Wilbert was slender, but he was a guy that could jump out the building, play great defense. Then we had Michael Collins, who was the point guard for the team from South Philly that transferred up to West Philly. And his ball handling skills were just almost Kyrie type of skills. And he ran the club. We had Calvin Goodwin, who was we call him the pretty boy shooter, but he could score, he could play, just so much experience. But the main guy, the captain of all that, and one that was so instrumental in my growth was Tim Smith. I watched him and followed him when I was on the court a lot of times, more than he would ever know. He doesn't even know how his influence was to me, and he feared no one. And I watched him and I followed him, and I did a lot of things with him. There's 3 things I carried to Duke University with me and in the pros that I learned from him. So he was a major influence in my life, a major influence on me. And we were 25-0, and that team was really a super amazing team. And we weren't even ranked in the nation, which was crazy. Then the following year we had a special team that we had Ron Wiener Williams, who was an exceptional player. He made the starting lineup, can do everything, strong, small forward kind of player. Then comes the emergence of the City Lights, the Legends of City Lights. He was, to me, we kind of took it for granted. I wouldn't say we took it for granted. We knew how good he was. He was the best guard, not just in the city, he was the best guard in the nation, to me. There was nobody else that was better than him. He was the best guard in the nation, and he got the name City Lights because he lights up the city. Then also there was Mike Nichols, who was the two guard. Mike can lock a person down. He rivaled in being Gary Payton the glove before Gary Payton was the glove. Great to have a player like that. He's a player you trust being out on the floor, trust playing with, and he gave his heart. I mean, he gave you everything he had. And he believed in defense and believed in team camaraderie. And all those things were about collective responsibility. Then Joe Garrett comes in, who was about 6'8", 6'9". He plays what you will call every position. He played his role perfectly. Perfectly. He could play guards, 6'9", and agility he has. Just a fantastic player. Knew his role and did it perfectly. The one guy that I fell in love with basketball with more than anything else was Clarence Tillman. Iggy was my heart and soul. Having Iggy on that team with me, and every time we played, just going out there, we kissed each other before we went out, and we just went out and played. And basketball was never, I can't even say fun. It was just another world being out there with him and playing with him. When I got the ball off the break, he was running on the side, and I knew I could take it and dunk it, but I always wanted to make a move and pass it off to him because he had the prettiest jump shot of any big man ever. I'm talking about in the college, pros. Iggy had the sweetest, beautiful jump shot. And to have him side by side with me, I never feared about losing. I wasn't even worried about trying to think that we're going to lose. It was never in the think pattern. But with having him there, automatically knew that we were just going to go out and have some ball, play hard. And I love the basketball more than anything because of Clarence A. Tillman. Wow. Yeah, give me a minute. Biggie is no longer with us, but one of the greatest players in West Philadelphia high school history. I miss him now. To move on, being at West Philadelphia High School was great because just going in the hallways, we had baseball teams, softball teams, volleyball teams, and they were all competitive. Our cheerleaders were the #1, color guards, Hazel Gainey and that crew, and Cherie Sessoms and Bernice Mason, and then you had the majorettes. It was just amazing what was happening at West Philadelphia High School. There was a lot of stuff going on. Then we also have, who is, I guess, the producer of this documentary, we had Tanya Banks, who was a chess champion. It was powerful. The greatest times of my life being at West Philadelphia. I had great teachers. Mr. William H. Detweiler. He was one of our teachers. Miss Ola Taylor, who was amazing what she did, and Miss Barbara Williams, who was a Spanish teacher. We had a lot of stuff. It took a village to raise us, and we got nurtured in every angle of our growth during that time. Nothing was always perfect, but man, we had spirit. There was a lot of stuff going on that was so special. I wouldn't have wanted to be with no other place. I know Brook had theirs, and Southfield had theirs, and Gratz had theirs, but it wasn't like being at West Philly. Nothing was like it. To be winning those games, they gave our student body and our faculty and the staff and people there, they gave us the strength. They gave us the energy. It wasn't just about us. It was about the whole West Philadelphia High School community, and we were unified. We were connected. Everybody gave to that. We sold out places, and everybody was there. The Palestra, we had our championship games where University of Penn played, sold out. Spectrum, we played games before the 76ers. And no high school teams did that, but we did it. And we had the bottom rows sold out of the tickets that they gave us. They could have gave us all the tickets. We probably would have sold out the whole Spectrum when the Sixers were. But I am very, very thankful and blessed that God allowed me to have this opportunity to, in my destiny, in my path, and I give all praise to Him, which my mother is the main person. We had a church in our basement, to say the least. So basketball got me out of being in church every day of the week. So thank you for that. But I give God, He had a plan for me. He had a destiny for me. I just rolled with it. My father, my mother, they divorced years before, but he always said, I did my part, and I moved you on to the destiny that you're going to go through. And I've always remembered that because you didn't see him much during the West Philadelphia time when my mother remarried, and you didn't see him do it, but he was proud to know that he did his part in bringing me along to nurture me. And my dad I have to give him credit for the role he took in that, and the way he stepped back and let me become a man in all of this. And thanks, Dad. I appreciate that. And Coach Goldenberg, well, what can be said about Coach Goldenberg? He trained us like a college team. He prepared us. When I went to Duke after I left from West Philly High, the training that I went there, I just not laughed at it, but it was nothing compared to what Coach Goldenberg put us through with the training for conditioning, the training with drills. His favorite word was, you're going to hate me now, but you're going to love me in March. And that's when all the championships were. He proved that, and I have all the most respect of Coach and have a great love for him. Nothing was always perfect. We had our little bumps and bruises. Not that I went against authority, but he put me in line too. He was bold enough to benched me for a championship game because I missed practice. I won't discuss all that, but I was wrong, and he was right. His principles was right, and he had to maintain those things. He did them, and it proved to be something very, very powerful in the spirit of the team of 1977, the national champions, because they could have lost the game. They could have lost to Brook. They could have lost to, but I came back as a young man. I learned how to be a man, and apologize, and take my lumps and go to him and tell him I was sorry, and tell the team I was sorry. We got back to practice. We went to Washington, won the Knights of Columbus, and then we came back and won the city championship again. So they're life lessons, and I've learned that a lot through that, and that's what West Philadelphia did for me in all spectrums. The teachers and the staff and NTAs and everybody, they put a foot in our behinds when we got on the line, and I'm very, very thankful to be a part of this tradition and what it is of West Philadelphia high school basketball and athletics and sports in general. And there are so many people to thank, but I got to give the man upstairs all the praise, and my mom. My mom was amazing with her support and her keeping me in line. And also Miss Novella Williams next door to me, who was a civil rights type of person. I had a lot of people putting their foots up in my behind when I acted up, so that was a good thing. It takes a village. And West Philadelphia High School, Speedboys, our community, that school, we had that village mentality. And I was very, very fortunate and blessed. And I took that on to be successful at Duke and also going to the NBA because of the love and the care and the things that they did for me. It helped me venture on.